Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, David Brooks, powered by Contractor Rhino, your go-to source for all your digital marketing and accounting needs for the trades. For this episode, we do have a guest with us, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hi, thanks, David, for having me. My name is Chris Buttenham. I'm one of the co-founders of a company called Reins. We help contractors simplify the process of offering equity and profit sharing to their employees.
Ooh, welcome. Nice to have you, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background and how you got started?
Yeah, so best way to describe me is I'm an entrepreneur, which means that I'm not great at much. And yeah, I've been an entrepreneur most of my life. This is my second real company, if you will. I had a company I started in 2015 that I sold in 2021. It was an AI company. We made it easier for employees to find answers to common questions at work, and found a buyer for that business that was selling something very complimentary, and it was just the right off ramp for that business. And the reason we're building Reins, and the reason standing here today, is I actually, before all of that, I worked for my dad. He's a contractor himself, and I was on the trucks for 5 years. He does like low voltage cabling, camera systems, security systems for the time he did residential and commercial. And so I worked for him. And when I was thinking about what business I wanted to build next, I spent a lot of time thinking about the small business owners in this country, and the fact that a lot of them are looking to retire or at least take a step out of the day-to-day grind of their business. And my dad is part of the inspiration. I watched him struggle. He had no tools to incentivize the key people in his business to take the reins, if you will, and take over the daily grind. And so I come by this business honestly. I mean, even though I spent a lot of time in tech and in software, my roots are actually small business contractors. So that's a little bit about me and how I got here.
Nice background. Trades is in your blood.
That's right.
Well, I love the fact that he said, helping small businesses. And with your company now, how is that empowering small businesses, even more?
Yeah, so we focus almost exclusively on small is can be a dirty word for some of our customers. They don't necessarily consider themselves small, but certainly the independent private business owner, of which there are millions in this country. And really the problem we help solve for them is they haven't had traditionally had access to these types of tools. So, I'm familiar with, in the tech world, or you may be familiar with private equity. They've had access to these fancy types of incentives and ways to share equity for a very long time. But the independent contractor hasn't had access to these things. And so that's what we've done, is we've made it really simple and accessible for the independent guy.
That's good. And like you said, not small in that sense, but
Right,
yeah,
right,
but not a corporation, in
right.
that sense.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And with that, being said, how could someone think about just adding on more value to the business with Reins and value with the team? What kind of things could happen inside of the business to kind of push things forward or kind of evolve in a sense?
Sure. Yeah, I think you know, one of the things we like to share with customers or just contractors in general is, a lot of people do bonuses. They
Mhm.
do performance-based pay and commissions and things like that. And a lot of that, you know, drives goals of the business. But sometimes bonuses can be entitlements.
Mhm.
And sometimes even commission or performance pay can be somewhat parasitic, meaning you're compensating someone to focus on something so specific that you don't understand the ramifications of what they're not doing. Am I focusing on my sales or some specific action you're compensating me on, and I'm not helping my colleagues? I'm not supporting the business at large. And so I'm giving you the context to come back to answer your question around value, which is, you know, what contractors can do is they can create incentive programs that align the financial outcomes for employees with the overarching goals of the business. So my goal as a business owner is to increase my profit or increase my revenue, or maybe I want to sell more memberships or reduce my callbacks. Do I have the right incentives in place that actually elicit a behavioral change that ultimately improves those goals? And that's where we see equity and profit sharing coming in, because when you compensate individuals with these types of incentives, and it's done so in an accessible way, uh, people start to take risks. They start to take a longer view uh, on their role in the business. When you're talking about a monthly commission check, you're talking about, I need to make, it doesn't matter what I do, I need to make these sales this month and nothing else matters. But when you have longer term incentives that actually have skin in the game, uh, people start to have a longer view of the business, and that's ultimately what creates value for these contractors.
I love that. Like being able to have that value for them inside of the business and making incentivizing things with a strategic direction and a purpose uh,
Mhm.
really makes a difference. And it's not just the normal way or just the guarantee. It could be a lot more to it with Reigns and the possibility for someone to perform even more better or go 10 extra miles instead of 1 extra miles
Right.
is great.
Right. Yep.
Now, how easy is it to be able to set this up? Because many people are like, oh, I don't know. I'm not good at setting stuff up. Is this too complicated? Walk me through that process.
Yeah, it's a famous question from our customers. So historically, it has been confusing, right? You have to consult with all kinds of fancy attorneys. You don't even know what attorney you need to talk to, right? And you don't know how to take what's in your head, that back of the napkin promise you gave your GM Joe. I don't know how to make that real, right? So that's what we simplify. So the way we've done that is kind of twofold. First, we worked with those fancy attorneys and we created our own repeatable framework.
Mhm.
So what that looks like is a pretty finite set of guardrails that a customer can use, a set of features that they can choose to implement their program. It's not, there's not an infinite amount of options, so you're not overwhelmed by all the possible things you could do, we've created a system that is built specifically for the independent contractor trying to align the goals of their business with the incentives they're giving to employees. The second way we're able to make this simple is we do it through technology. So there's a really simple app that the owner has. We walk them through it. So we're very consultative. We walk them through it. We say, how much of the business are you willing to part way with? Um, how what kind of restrictions do we want to have on these types of incentives? Do the employees get to keep them when they leave, or do they forfeit them when they leave? So just simple decisions like that, all done through really simple drop downs through our software. Everything then gets electronically formalized, signed within our application. And then most importantly, the employees actually get an app. And so the employees get a view into what their incentives might be worth, what they need to do in order to earn the incentives, and when they may be paid if there is any type of profit share, what type of conditions need to be met in order for them to earn that. So, before this, in a best case, you get a really expensive piece of paper that gets filed away in a filing cabinet. And the employee, you're lucky if the owner understands. The employee doesn't understand. It's not communicated effectively. And so not only do we make it really, really easy to set up, but we make it easy to communicate and administrate going forward so that you're actually getting the intended outcome of what you're trying to do when you're setting up an incentive like this, as opposed to just formalizing it and then not actually getting the benefit that you intended on.
So it really sounds like it's, not super complicated to the point where I'm coming in and I'm totally, totally lost.
Right,
But
exactly. Yeah,
it's parameters and things set in place where it's like an ebb and flow.
exactly. Exactly. And look, we're a software company, but we take a human approach. So you get paired with one of us to walk you through the process and show you, what other contractors like you are doing as well. That's part of the value is seeing the data on what your peers are doing.
I love that. I love that. And having a human, like you said, human approach, walk you
Yeah.
through it, looking at other examples. And it was funny because, well, when I was doing, but prior to this and doing some more research, and I see, well, the case study, in particular on Absolute Electric, and I love that the fact that they were able to kind of come in and after losing different team members and implement a system like this,
Yes.
it speaks volumes.
Yeah, exactly. It's, there's two, there's a lot of business problems this could support, but two main ones, right? You want to retain the good people that you have, but a lot of people don't think outside of the box. In this industry, um the talent supply is just so low, right? And so you need to really differentiate yourself as a business to say, what can we do to actually increase our chance of hiring the best people? And so that's what a lot of our customers are doing is they're creating these plans with the hopes of also bringing on new talent that they can keep for the long haul.
Mhm. Yeah, I love the fact that you have to be doing something about it. You have to be proactive, think outside of the box to keep this talent in-house because it's nothing, almost, more heartbreaking sometimes when you're really attached and you've done a great job training up a person and they know the systems, processes, they're a key member to the organization, to the business, and then boom, you lose one, and then boom, you lose another one. It's like, man, like how do I make people not want to leave, right? How do I make this look like, hey, look, we don't, we want to come in when we're young and we want to retire when we're old.
Right. Right. And look, I'll be the first one to say these things aren't a silver bullet. It doesn't come, without these results don't come without also a really great culture and owners and managers that want to communicate these things effectively. But if you're not doing this, you're not setting yourself apart and you're really not creating a team with skin in the game who's going to think they're going to think long term and think about the business, not just about their next paycheck.
Correct, correct. And I love the fact that you brought up culture because culture is so and it's an important uh part. One of probably the most important parts is, you could have the best incentives in the world, but if the if the culture and stuff is toxic and people don't like the people around them, they don't care about all the extra perks. So you do have to set the foundation and the groundwork there first, and
Yeah,
then add on is the icing on the cake.
exactly. Exactly.
Now, so someone comes in, they want to get signed up. How long does the process take?
Yeah, good question. I mean, with our framework and technology, we can get it done in a day. On average, it's probably a couple of weeks once do we do an overview with the customer, trying to understand the goals of what they're trying to accomplish, understand their expectations. Like, do they have some sort of back of the napkin promise that they've made to employees and they're trying to formalize that? How does that fit into the framework, et cetera, et cetera? But it could be as quick as folks are willing to move, and you know, a few things that we do offer that are very no strings attached is we offer free incentive audits. A lot of folks are like, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what I'm currently doing is working, if what I'm currently doing is best practice, industry standard. So we'll go in and we'll take a look at your current performance pay, bonuses, incentives, if you have them, and give you no strings attached audit of, hey, here's what we think just from a consultative view. And if you think that, you can improve this with Reins, so be it. If not, it's value add for you. So you can do that. And there's a lot of great content too that we publish on our website that folks can take a look at, because look, we know that a lot of people have questions, and there's a lot of education around these things, and they want to feel comfortable um, with the concept of doing anything like this before they actually get involved with a vendor. So um, we always like to just share that we have lots of great resources like that too on our website.
Yeah, I love the fact that, you have those resources out there, makes it all the more better for continuing the education, brand awareness, and just, getting a sense and feel of the process, the benefits, just different things because, now you're coming into a space that you're may not be really all too familiar with, right? Like, the how bigger corporations and you hear about it, but
Right.
how do you actually bring that into inside of your business is a whole different story.
Exactly. Yeah, you nailed it.
I love that. Now, any other I would ask, as contractors are listening to this episode, any valuable tips or information that you would be able to give them to think about, potentially signing up and coming on the platform?
Yeah, like, look, Reins aside, here's some valuable things to think about. Again, you want to create incentives, not entitlements. Entitlements are bonuses, cash payments that employees end up expecting. And what you have to understand is that's charity. If you want to give charity, that there's nothing wrong with that, but just understand that that's what that is. Incentives are designed to elicit a behavioral change. So think about that when you're putting together any of compensation plans for your team. And then the other thing too, in terms of just advice and things we see most often, is keep it simple. Everyone, and I mean everyone, tries to overcomplicate this, and it's because they're too close to their business. And the reality is if employees don't understand it, then they're not going to value it. And if you don't understand it, you're not going to know how to communicate it and administrate it. So whatever the most simple permutation of your incentive structure is, simplify it again, and you'll thank yourself later. And that's what I'd say. I just want to, provide value. If you think that Reins can help, then we're here, myreins.com, and you can book a demo with our team, take a look at the product, or you can get one of those incentive audits like I mentioned.
Perfect. Love that. Love that. So thanks so much, Chris. I will ask the final question. If people wanted to specifically reach out, where did they find you guys at?
Yeah, so it's just myreins.com, myreins.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn. And of course, we're on companies on Facebook, LinkedIn, and everything like that.
All right, excellent. Well, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, David.
No problem. Everyone, thanks so much for listening to this episode. Make sure you tune into the next one. Till next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.